that's a well way to start the show. What the hell is this? Anyway, hi everybody. Turn that down, turn this up. Let's go. Welcome. Happy Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. How y'all doing this morning? So, as I was pulling up my information getter called the keyboard and mouse, caught an article on this misinformation ruling the judge in Missouri did, or not Missouri, Louisiana district judge did on against the Biden administration. And there's a little more to it than I mentioned the other day. So we're going to go into that, plus a lot of things that are happening in the world. Turn that up. You can hear me fine, I'm sure. And we'll do that and more right after the intro. Why is that so messed up? What happened there? My background animation thing is messed up. What the hell is that? Okay, we'll fix that and be ready for the next time. So, ready? Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
All right, good morning. Will you please stop the music? There it goes. It just went. Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where sometimes I forget to pull the chat out. So let me pop the chat out so I can see who the hell I'm talking to here. And in the meantime, boy, there's a lot going on. I was hanging out I was on Twitter a little bit last night trying to get some information. And someone was ragging on Casey DeSantis, the wife of Ron DeSantis, about her shoes. It was Laura Loomer, okay? So Laura Loomer's tweeting about Casey DeSantis. Apparently they had this event in Florida that was outdoors, and it was out in the grass and dirt or whatever, and Casey DeSantis apparently was wearing shoes that were unacceptable to Laura Loomer. She was wearing heels out in the wild, out in the grass and dirt, wherever these people were out. It's an outdoor event, right? And she's bitching about Casey DeSantis' shoes. Now I get that, the Trump surrogates are supposed to nag at Casey DeSantis and Ron DeSantis, whatever. They're gonna try to destroy them, kind of like Trump did with the other candidates. On the way to the nomination in 2016, he ripped everyone to shreds, right? But this was such a dumb attack. Why do you attack the candidate's wife about her shoes, what shoes she's wearing? And especially in a case where the person who Laura Loomer was an advocate for, or, surrogate for, is married. What the hell? Why is that? Why am I faded over there? Is married to someone who has a propensity to wear high heels all the time, right? It's very strange that this was a choice that was made by Laura Loomer. I just don't get it. And what the hell is going on? Did this thing reset again? Holy sneaky snackers. Let's see if we can fix this. Good Lord. I'm invisible. That green, apparently this shirt has too much green in it. I don't know why that would be. And holy crap, do I look like I look like I'm washed out. Well, not in that screen. On this screen I do. Well, let's see if this worked. Let's try this. Close and see if that worked. Did that work? No, okay. No, okay. Can you see through me? Anyway, so she's talking about how, it's just, she's, look, I don't give a shit about what Casey DeSantis wears. I don't care what Melania Trump wears. I just want to hear what the candidates have to say about things that affect us. And, what was it? She said, one of the lines she said was, it's really strange. Am I opaque still? No, I fixed it. I did. I think. One of the things that she said that was really strange was something about, boy, these people sure don't know how to get elected. And I thought, wait a minute. Y'all realize Laura Loomer doesn't know. It says they don't know how to get elected. Ron DeSantis has been elected to Congress. Ron DeSantis has been elected to the governor of the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis is currently holding office. And excuse me, Congresswoman Loomer. Oh, wait, you lost your only race for election. Maybe you should take a different tack. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, all right, we're going to get into the news, but let me say hi to the gang here, because that's what I do. Over on Rumble, the first and only person on Rumble would be Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Did I tweet out the show today? I think I did. Yes, I did. Thanks for anyone who's joined me in tweeting out the show. Who does that include, though? That includes Somnambule Nation. Shroom, thank you. Oh, wait. What is this? I'm like, why am I getting all these notifications? So somebody tagged me. Some coffee company keeps tagging me in all their tweets, and a lot of people like to either retweet or heart them or whatever that. And I'm like, okay, I think that's cool. I'm a coffee guy, right? I have my coffee like every day. Maybe they just realize I have my coffee every day. Anyway, thanks Willett Forge, Somnambule Nation for tweeting out the show. And please, this show is supported and brought to you by you. Only you can help make this show grow, because YouTube seems to hate me. All right, let's. Sully, good morning. What's up over there on Rumble? Okay, on YouTube, first in chat is also Avocados Diabli, who gets the bell. Also, good morning, Somnambule Nation, Simon Wolfwood, Attack Alpaca, Willett Forge, what's up? Good morning. I said Rotten Corpse, Bishop's in the house. Nice to have you back. Anonymity T2, aka the Terminator's in the house. Tyrannus, Alexandrius, Invictus, Mitch is in the house. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. I don't know why I crack up every time I do that for you, Tyre. You get the epic theme music that I use for other stuff, but I'm just playing around. All right. Wow. Is there really only 14 people here? Okay. Well, that's cool. You are the 14 that make my day. Thank you very much. Oh, now what's in the house? Oh, you're back from Las Vegas. Good. My friend Wu is in the house. Now what studios? Back from Las Vegas. Loved watching your show in the weirdest city in the U.S. Apocalyptic behavior of thousands of gamblers in a faux glitzy city. Hit the button, throw the dice, vote D. Yeah. I'm glad you had a good time in Vegas. Okay. So my friend Wendy from high school, who's I call Wu. She put a little Instagram post out talking about the fireworks. And this was an interesting post because she was taking a video of fireworks in Las Vegas on the 4th of July outside the window of her hotel, right? And if you're looking out at the fireworks, there's also the window of the hotel is kind of dirty, right? And I thought it was kind of profound. It's like, you can choose to focus on the dirty window, or you can choose to focus on this beautiful fireworks show. And something about that clicked with me, because as you know, I tend to go off and just try to see things that are cool every time we have a day off. And it just reminded me of just how you can choose to see the world. You can choose to see that dirty window, which isn't going to really affect you enough, or you can see the beauty in the world of that great fireworks show. And I just thought it was very profound. So thanks for for dropping that dime of truth bomb that you put on Instagram. In fact, put your Instagram link in the chat, and we'll drop that. We'll drop that in there. Anyway, all right. Let's get into the show, because there's some things trending real quick, and then we got some news to cover and a few articles and whatnot. Things trending in the on Twitter though, and that people are talking about today. Rosalind Carter's trending. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter, and that's because today is Jimmy and Rosalind Carter's 77th wedding anniversary, which is amazing. 77 years they've been married. Now, think what you want about Carter's presidency, right? And because I think he was the wrong president for the wrong time. He regardless of if you think he was weak, he came off as weak. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, Special Can Acid, Tyler F. But I respect James Earl Carter for his post presidential life. Okay, his work with Habitat for Humanity, I'm impressed by that. I don't like him dipping his nose into politics every now and then, because he's always been wrong. But I respect the man, and also just respecting the man that a couple that can celebrate 77 years of marriage. Holy moly, that's amazing. Because I've been married 30 years, and I think, oh, that's a long time, and it's great. But 77 years, man, that's just that's something else. So congratulations to Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. That's why they're trending, marking the 77th anniversary with a quiet Friday in their South Georgia home, extending their record as the longest married first couple ever. So good for them. That's really cool. Also trending this morning. Let's see what else is here. Let's see. Oh, Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige is trending. Satchel Paige, the great pitcher from the Negro Leagues, and also got drafted. So let me just tell you how great this guy was, okay? Satchel Paige played professional baseball until he was 59 years old. He was a major star in the Negro Leagues, back in the 30s and 40s. He got drafted by the Cleveland Indians. I think he was 42 years old when he got drafted by the Cleveland Indians. In fact, today's the 75th anniversary. It's not his birthday. It's the 75th anniversary of Satchel Paige signing with the Cleveland Indians. This was a momentous occasion, on par with Jackie Robinson's debut with the Dodgers. And let's see, this guy wrote some of the book about it. But he was born he's also born this day too. So he was born and drafted on his birthday. Good morning, Bale and Bobby, by the way. I see you there. Born July 7th, 1906 in Mobile, Alabama. But he was 42 years old when he was drafted by the Cleveland Indians. And he was a dominant pitcher in the major leagues too. I mean, it was at 42, played till he was 59 years old. Come on, man. Oh, Peter asked my Zadie, doctor, at their 70th wedding anniversary party if he ever thought of divorce. Zadie shook his head. Divorce? No. Murder? Maybe. That was good. That's funny. It's funny. Okay. Play rugby till they're 60, then I'll be in awe. Well, that's a different sport. Any sport, though. Any professional sport. If you can still be in that professional sport at almost 60 years old, that's a long time. I mean, most players, even the pitchers who are really good pitchers, maybe last into their mid-40s and they got to go. I know Nolan Ryan lasted until he was 50, I think. Didn't he? Didn't Nolan Ryan pitch when he was 50 years old and then he retired? But, and I know there's a couple of basketball players that made it into their 40s but 59, almost 60 years old. Golf, yeah, but golf not in the highest level, though. There have been there have been golfers, like senior tour players, who, like, for example, would be in the, be in the running in the majors at, in the third or fourth round. But that's a feat. 59 years old, playing professional baseball. All right, let's move on, because I got a lot of other stuff to talk about than sports stuff. It's like I said, Casey DeSantis is trending. I didn't say she was trending, but she is trending. Mainly because people are taking a dump on her, basically. Not figuratively, obviously, but for whatever reason, she's in everyone's mind right now. Like, and the lefties hate her because, well, she's married to Ron DeSantis. You know what? Casey DeSantis should shut the fuck up about protecting kids. Really? Should she? I don't think so. She makes the evil witch in Hansel and Gretel look sweet. I've seen more maternal instinct on a cum-stained sheet tied to a dirty cot in solitary confinement on death row. Plastic never looks so. They calling her the Walmart Melania. You know what? Stop it. Stop it. Katie DeSantis is great, and this is an important part of the story. Disgusted at the Trump supporters and the replies and quote tweets attacking her and telling her survival story. She's a cancer survivor. You know what I mean? And also, you know what the other thing is? It's unnecessary. It's just freaking unnecessary for people taking a dump on her. But she was telling a story about her battle with breast cancer. Here's Casey DeSantis.
There was a time in my life where I didn't know if I was going to see my kids graduate from kindergarten, let alone high school. And I was able to beat that back, and I had some really long, difficult battles. As a matter of fact, I remember, and the governor was getting criticized for doing this with me, but I remember every single chemotherapy appointment that I went to, and there were 6 of them, and they were long, and they were very hard, and I had to wear this dumb cold cap on my head that was like an ice cube. You're like in an igloo for 6 or 7 hours, and he held my hand during every single one of them, and he never left my side. And I'll tell you what, when you go through something like that, and you're in the middle of the night, scared, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you crawl into bed with your kids, and you're getting hope for tomorrow that you can have some more time with them, and then you realize that God has given you more opportunity to be able to live. When you're given that opportunity in life, what do you do with it? Do I care what a headline says? No. I care about protecting the innocence of my children and your children.
All right, so that's a little bit of Casey DeSantis. But anyway, a lot of people are talking about her because she made this speech in Iowa. And, some people are rich. Some people are ripping on him. And there's stupid means like this. Parental rights hugs. I don't want my child to have to look at a rainbow flag. No, I don't want my children suggested by a school counselor that they cut some body parts off. That's what I don't want. And Democrats, I don't want my child to come home in a body bag. Well, yeah, nobody does. Nobody does. That's just a stupid meme. Anyway, lots of people ripping on her. Some people praising her, and that's why she's trending. Moving on. Evan Gershkovich is trending. Evan Gershkovich is the Wall Street Journal reporter who's been detained in Russia. No, I don't know if they've traded any notorious world arms dealers for him or have anything in the work. But anyway, today we mark the unhappy date. It's been over 100 days since our reporter was put behind bars in Russia for doing his job. Evan Gershkovich, 100 days detained. Not good news there. I don't know what's going on, but there's plenty of links to stories. If you want to check that out, I'll have that in the links today. Also trending today, cocaine in the White House. So there's, I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but apparently the White House lied to us about the location of where they found the cocaine. And apparently that cocaine that was in the White House was in an area that pretty much could only be accessed by people who can get into the White House without a lot of security checking them out. Let's just say that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But some people are speculating it might not be Hunter Biden's. it might be somebody else's, and it's interesting. 51 former intelligence officials have determined any cocaine found at the White House is Russian disinformation. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Anyway, so the possibilities: Hunter, Jill, Secret Service, Kamala Harris. Who knows? You're telling me that a random person can sneak cocaine into the White House and we can't figure out who it is? Let me rephrase that. Somebody brought drugs into the leader of the free world's home and we don't know who. I don't believe it. Okay, so I've been listening a lot of different people talk about this. One person I listened to this morning was Dan Bongino, who used to be in the Secret Service. And he made it very clear that this is them pretending that they can't figure out who put it, who found it, who brought it in. It's pretty much bullshit. If they can figure out, let's just put it this way. By the way, hello Maddie and Renee Mayette, and I said Simon Wolfwood. I got you there. If there's no way. Oh, Trippy Liberty's in the house. What's up, Trip? There's no way. There's no way. Let's put it this way. Let's say this was anthrax. Okay, let's say it was anthrax and not cocaine. Do you think they would be saying, oh, well, there's probably no way we can ever figure out if it was who brought it in, blah, blah. No, they'd be looking at the security cameras, which they are, but hello, Black Hebrew Israelites in the house. What's up?
That's right.
All right, now, oh, and GDSOB, good morning. Hey, here's what I think. This is a long shot, but here's what I think. I'm not 100% convinced that this discovery is really necessarily a discovery. This is just I'm just spitballing here. This might end up being called misinformation, but first of all, if they find something in the White House, and is there a reason? Is there a reason that they decided to publicize it like this? Like they decided to put this out into the public, what it was, what not? Especially when you have a relative of the president who has been known for a little bit of an addiction problem. Why would they put this out? Is it possible? And I am just spitballing here. Is it possible that they publicize this because they just want the news to be about this and not something else? There's plenty of other stuff happening that's coming out that maybe this would be a pretty good distraction from, right? Like the fact that they had found an email when Biden was when the former vice president, Joe Biden, was setting up a call with Poroshenko of Ukraine when they were going to talk about getting rid of that prosecutor. And the aide to Mr. Biden, the vice president, copied that email to none other than Hunter Biden. Now, why would Hunter Biden be copied on an email to the vice president talking about scheduling a meeting, a phone meeting with Poroshenko? Why would that be? It's funny. It came out about the same time as this cocaine story. Now, which is worse? Maybe the addicted son who Biden loves his son. The love story that Anna Navarro keeps talking about. Oh, this is a love story. Do you think the love story of the father trying to help his son would be distracting enough to not maybe have the fact that his son was in on some emails as to the vice president of the United States when it comes to the president of Ukraine and a certain prosecutor that they wanted to get rid of? Wow, what a great distraction. Anyway, so that's cocaine in the White House is trending. Lots of people talking about it. In fact, let's see a couple tweets. Here, the ultimate double standard. It's time thousands of people jailed for personal use be released, thousands more records expunged. If cocaine use is legal in the White House, it should be legal for anyone else. Now that's not it. Oh, here's one. And this was the other one I saw yesterday, but I didn't talk about it. On Fox News, they're talking about that apparently some people in the White House were invoking the Hatch Act to dodge a cocaine question. Wait a minute. What is the Hatch Act? Experts were baffled by the Biden administration invoking the Hatch Act whether President Biden or his son owned the cocaine found in the White House. The culprit behind the White House July snowstorm has yet to be found, and the Biden administration isn't answering whether the president or Hunter Biden owned the Independence Day cocaine dominating the headlines this week. White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates was asked during the Thursday press gaggle whether the president can deny that he or his son owned the cocaine found at the White House, a charge leveled by former President Donald Trump. Bates invoked the Hatch Act. Now, the Hatch Act is legislation that prohibits federal employees from talking about or using federal resources for campaign purposes. What? To use that to dodge the question on former President Trump's claim that the Colombian Bam Bam belonged to the president or his son. Why would the Hatch Act have anything to do with about an investigation into cocaine found in the White House? That makes no sense whatsoever. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you're getting about the cocaine. Everyone's talking about the cocaine. And of course, you've probably seen the video of him in the White House balcony, and everyone thinks he did a bump when he was behind Jill Biden, and Jill Biden gave him this, the fuck you doing back there look. Like, she didn't want him. He was all sweaty and rubbing his nose. Everyone thinks he was doing little bumps of cocaine while he was on the White House balcony. That's speculation, though. Nobody knows for sure. It's just speculation. Don't get me for misinformation. All right. Also trending, Cenk Uygur. Has anyone been following the Young Turk saga as of late? So let me give you some background. I think it was last week, maybe it was the week before. Anna Kasparian was upset on Twitter and made a tweet to the effect that, she supports the trans community, but she just doesn't think it's appropriate that she be called a person with a uterus or a pregnant person. She's a woman, okay? And oh my God, you would have thought that someone did a mass shooting at a hospital strictly for trans people. The trans people just came down on her like the Hindenburg, right? And apparently now the Young Turks are in this really strange, birthing persons. That's what it was. The Young Turks are like getting hammered by trans activists left and right. And, because both Anna and Cenk have made statements that were like, yes, we support the trans community, but look, you guys are going too far. And they're just like, no, we're not. Blah, 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 blah. And so he's getting beat up on Twitter. Here's the latest that I saw this morning, where he's saying, if you can't tell Cenk Uygur, this is Cenk Uygur. Listen to this. If you can't tolerate any dissent from your maximalist position, are you sure you're a progressive? Whoa! Is it left wing to throw allies under the bus for the slightest disagreement? Probably not. I think some people on here are becoming a caricature the right wing drew up of them. No, they are who they are. They will if you step out of line, prepare to be destroyed, Cenk. And it couldn't happen to a nice person. I got to tell you. So this guy said, actual justice warrior. He's always going back and forth with Cenk. People told me Cenk was raging on Twitter. I went to check it out for fun, only to discover he's backing Anna, not because he agrees with her on everything, but because he is okay with their disagreements. Respect for not throwing her under the bus like so many others. Yeah, like, you know what? Look, I think Cenk's an idiot. Cenk is the king of throwing out straw men. But he is supporting his friend and whatever. So it says here, so you think talk show hosts should say nothing on a political issue they cover. They should hide their opinions, and instead they should defer to people they disagree with. Interesting take. Sorry, I'm not taking a vow of silence when I disagree with someone on my own side. Now, what's this? Chris Yassi, read the replies in this response to Cenk, calling his ex-employer Benny unhinged and a liar. And you'll see exactly why this shit TYT is pulling is so bad. Oh, gosh. These are people who would normally... Now, well, not true. Chris Yassi not necessarily would like Cenk, but anyway. Games Lames, good morning. So anyway, I'll leave, again, all these threads, everything that I put in the screen today will be in a single link at the end of the show. I'll drop in the chat and update the description in the videos on both Rumble and YouTube. You will find every single one of these threads available, and there's one in particular that I want you to check out today. I'm not going to go through it because it's way too long, but we'll get to that in a minute. Almost to the main topic. And then the final one that I'll bring up that was trending this morning was, other than misinformation, is LGBA. Now, you may not be familiar with this situation I think this is over in Great Britain. I'm pretty sure. So there's this organization called Mermaids, and it's an organization over there that is very pro-trans, advocates for trans people, or transitioning and all this other stuff, right? And there's another organization called LGBA. It's an organization for lesbian, gays, bisexuals, and asexuals, and the Mermaids organization it was a nonprofit organization, right? And the Mermaids organization was trying to get this organization's nonprofit status revoked because they say that they are not inclusive, they're not trans friendly, they're anti-trans, they're TERFs, blah 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 blah. And apparently, the court sided with LGBA. So here it is. Now this is dished out by LGBA. The case failed in standing, which we knew was a difficult issue as the law was so complex. Does not, however, constitute a win for LGBA. The judges were split as to whether LGBA deserved charity. Was this in Great Britain or Canada? Was this Canada? I think it's I think it's over in Great Britain. Based upon the content they produced and the lack of any actual charitable activities, they have consistently shown themselves to be a trans hate group. Oh no! Not for the force of good for the LGBT community, for all those who are negatively impacted by today's judgment. So anyway, that's not correct, though, according to the person who tweeted this. Yay, LGB didn't lose, which means they won. Kind of like when gender critters cheered Allison Bailey's win, even though she lost. Wah, wah, wah. So anyway, it's good to see this obviously truth stated in the LGBA Mermaids judgment, but given this, why on earth did it take so long to rule? Justice delayed, justice denied, and this has taken an unforgivably long time. So here's the ruling, part of the ruling. Charitable status does not come with any guarantees of funding nor any freedom from criticism or debate. It is no part of the commission's function nor this tribunal to tell people what to think or to regulate public debate in a context where they are deeply held sincere beliefs on all sides of the discussion. Now that surprises me because it's kind of a aren't they kind of they're kind of anti-free speech in Great Britain in some ways. Is this in Great Britain? I don't know. Jeremy 293 over on Rumble. Welcome. Nice to have you join us today. Mermaids think the judgment confirms that there's serious doubts over whether LGBA should have a charitable status. In fact, the judgment says exactly the opposite, which shows they have about as much grasp of the law as they have over children's welfare. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Anyway, Mermaid's aim was to forbid LGBA or anyone from questioning their stance on gender issues. Like Stonewall, mermaids have been permitted to make hugely consequential and often concerning decisions without any scrutiny or debate. That stops now, and they did it to themselves. So, it's a sign of hope, I guess, over there. I don't know. Hello, Unacceptable Views, by the way. All right, I'm sorry. I'm mumble jumbling. You don't know what I'm talking about because I'm just reading random tweets. Let's get into something that you do understand, though, that you will understand unless you didn't already know about it. And that is misinformation. Misinformation has been trending huge the last couple of days, and that's partially because of this judge's ruling down in Louisiana in that case where the state of Missouri and I think the state of Louisiana sued the Biden administration for their meddling on people's social media postings, right? So, why are mermaids suing people and mermaids exist? No, it's the organization. So anyway, misinformation is trending big time. And because everyone's talking about this judge's ruling, and a lot of it has to do, most of it has to do with that ruling. But there's some other things here. Let me go to the main point here. And by the way, this thread by Tracy Bean, it's very long. I was going to go through it today, but it's so long that I just can't. It's too long. But it's a very detailed look at the ruling, and it's very it's very well done. And I strongly suggest you do it. I'll have it in the links today. But let's do a summary here with the Daily Caller article. So the judge's injunction on Biden's censorship operation is more far-reaching than initially thought. And so conservatives celebrated Tuesday after a federal judge issued an injunction against government agencies collaborating with tech companies to censor online speech. But the order is even more far-reaching than first reported. Good. Western District Judge, Louisiana Judge Terry A. Doughty, granted the broad injunction barring President Joe Biden's administration from collusion with pro-censorship nonprofit organizations. I wonder who those might be. I bet the SPLCA were this one of them. Or SPLC, whatever. Barring President Joe Biden from collusion with pro-censorship nonprofit organizations, in addition to social media companies in the free speech lawsuit Missouri versus Biden. The injunction found the government. Jimmy Sotep. Hi. Hey, by the way, Jimmy, maybe you can tell me what's happened. I haven't seen Cannon or Jay Pylon for a while. You know what's going on with those guys? Anyway, you can tell me. You can tell me later. You can DM me. The injunction found that government officials likely violated the First Amendment by suppressing protected speech, and states that government actors are barred from collaborating, coordinating, partnering, switchboarding, and or jointly working with research groups and projects that advocate for censorship, which they should not be doing anyway. Specifically, the order calls for the Election Integrity Partnership, Democrats, and the Virality Project, Democrats, and the Stanford Internet Observatory, and it prevents the government from engaging with them and other groups and projects for the purpose of urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing in any manner removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content posted on social media companies containing protected free speech. Now, researchers, including Stanford Internet Observatory, election officials, and government agencies established the Election Integrity Partnership in 2020 to identify and study online misinformation. Where's my button? Where is it? Oh, there it is. In the lead up to elections, flagging posts for social media platforms to censor. So they kind of had this little partnership where they would do, hey, social media company, that looks like misinformation. We're going to flag that for you so you can remove it. Now, through the Election Integrity Partnership, Election Integrity Partnership, multiple groups, including the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Notice they come up with all these letter groups. The Democratic National Committee, And the NAACP could now, wait, mind you, the Democratic National Committee and the NAACP could submit tickets reporting possible election misinformation, which EIP would then forward to social media platforms after looking into the claims. The EIP published a 2021 report detailing its efforts to address misinformation in the 2020 election, disclosing it had hundreds of posts with online platforms, with 35% of the URLs we shared with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube either labeled, removed, or soft blocked. So they were getting people censored on social media. Now, the Virality Project, not virility, but virality, as in viral, project, was a group of academic institutions led by Stanford University that advocated for stricter censorship on Twitter. It worked with government agencies. No, that's a no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Worked with government agencies to categorize often correct statements as misinformation, according to emails published by journalist Matt Taibbi in a batch of Twitter files. So that's where they got a lot of that old Twitter files thing was gold, right? Now, the Virality Project helped launch a system that flagged millions of posts per day as misinformation for review, according to emails. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the State Department, the Pentagon also partnered with the Virality Project, either directly or using intermediary programs. So government agencies were flagging people's posts on Instagram, Facebook, to be removed for misinformation. The government was doing this. Now, concerns over vaccine passport programs were flagged despite not being false. Opposition to those policies have driven a larger... Oh, here's the quote, though. Opposition to those policies, quote, have driven a larger anti-vaccination narrative about the loss of rights and freedoms, end quote, the Virality Project said, flagging it as a misinformation event. Now, wow. So it wasn't false. It made people less hesitant about vaccines. So Doty found that the plaintiffs in the Missouri versus Biden lawsuit, Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry and Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, had presented evidence of a massive effort by defendants, which is the federal government, from the White House to federal agencies to suppress speech based on its content. The order, and then there's what's this? Want to see more evidence? Okay, they just showed... Read our satirical pamphlet, Censorship Enterprise, The Future is Now, brought to you by the de facto Federal Coalition Against Disfavored Speech by visiting... Okay, there's a link there. Now, so the order also bars specifically flagging content or posts on social media platforms and or forwarding such social media companies urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing in any manner for removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content containing protected free speech. In other words, here, let me simplify the order that the judge gave. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to simplify the order. Here goes. And in fact, I think he might have got this phraseology from an old Johnny Mathis song. Yeah, okay, all right. I don't know why I brought up Johnny Mathis. If you know who Johnny Mathis is, put a 1 in the chat. He got this phraseology from an old Johnny Mathis song, and here's what the judge said. I am going to paraphrase. Stop that shit. Okay? That's what he said. So anyway, so further, during the 2020, at a House Judiciary Committee report found, a House Judiciary Committee report found that the Department of Homeland Security's CISA used private surrogates to suppress speech. Private surrogates? What's a private surrogate? To suppress speech during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, during the 2020 election, CISA, that's this, what's that an acronym for? The cyber, Listen to this name. The cyber... Richard Head. What's up, Richard? It's been a while. Are you the same, Richard? I'm not sure. Anyway, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Keeping people safe, right? Hello, Steph Colonel. So, during the 2020 election, the Center for Internet Security, CIS, a nonprofit that pushes platforms to censor, worked with election officials and CISA on a portal to flag and censor social media misinformation, according to a CIS report independent journalist Lee Fang obtained in June. So they had their own little portal that they could go into and do their magic. The injunction allows for certain collaborative actions, such as informing social media companies of illegal posting. An example is informing social media companies of posting involving criminal activity or criminal conspiracy. So they can tell that they can say, hey, that shit right there is illegal. You can take that down, and then that's allowed. But anything else that's because see, here's the thing. They're not supposed to post illegal activity on social media anyway. But you know what? Let me just tell you something. This is what drives me nuts. So they have this big push to censor misinformation and disinformation and malinformation, right? Aren't all of those things still free speech? And the government has no business whatsoever suppressing any kind of speech, even if it is misinformation. Jimmy Das Hotep, thank you, dropping the dime on Rumble Rants. Let's see, dropping $10, saying people not caring about the government abusing power to control speech blows my mind. This would be considered extortion in many circumstances. Plus, it is basically communism. Also, DM sent. Thank you very much. So, oh, by the way, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. So, yeah, and it's wild. Yeah, Jimmy, that's a great point, Jimmy. It is completely wild. He says, asshole. Yes, they are. It is so wild that there are people, and mostly Democrats, who are excusing this. Now, there's some Democrats who are like, yeah, that's probably not what we're supposed to be doing. But anyway, it blows my mind too, Jimmy, that there are people who don't care. They're like, oh no, you should be taking down misinformation. Well, to them, misinformation is something they don't agree with. Okay, they consider calling a trans woman, not calling a trans woman a woman, as misinformation. You know, a trans woman is a trans woman, and that's all. That's all. That's not. You know, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say it on YouTube anymore, so I better be careful. But it's, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm saying. In fact, Jordan Peterson got in trouble for that. Jordan Peterson saying trans women are men sparks a furor. That's an article in Newsweek. I'll have that one in here too. This article right here. Jordan Peterson getting in trouble, I guess. But, you know, sorry. Sometimes truth hurts. Jordan Peterson's recent comments about trans women are alarming and spewing hate, according to an LGBTQ activist. Well, really? Is that information or misinformation? Is he allowed to say that in America? I bet he is. The controversial. Now, it's interesting how Newsweek calls him the controversial influencer. Jordan Peterson's a psychiatrist by trade, PhD, and a psychiatrist. And not the psychologist, not the one that doesn't, the psychiatrist kind of gets a medical degree. All right. So anyway, fake news. Oh, what's up, fake news? That's weird. Good morning. The controversial influencer has come under fire for his comments erasing transgender women's identities. Now, wait a minute. How does that erase a transgender woman's identity? They're still whoever they say they are, as far as their name, their Your identity is not your sex or your gender. Your identity is who you are as a person. It doesn't erase you. Now, you're just a transgender woman is a transgender woman. How about that? That's accurate. But he said trans women are men. Enough is enough. He tweeted on Sunday. The comment was posted as a caption on a retweet of a CNN article about changes to Kansas state laws that would require people's driver's license and birth certificates to reflect the gender they were. Now, here's this assigned with at birth bullshit. No, your gender's not assigned at birth. Your sex is observed at birth. And in my dialect of English, female children are girls. In my dialect of English, male children are boys. You're not assigned that. That's what the doctor observes. And most people speak in medical terms of my dialect of English. Sorry if we don't want to use your special super special, super secret dialect that you decide that those words don't have meaning. Now, the change requires the Kansas State Department of Revenue to list individuals' biological sex at birth. Not assigned. See, that's not assigned. That's simple. But their biological sex at birth on driver's license, according to the Kansas Attorney General, Chris Kobach. Now, here we go. Stacy Lenz, co-owner of the historic Stonewall Inn in New York City, slammed Peter's comments as false information. Really? Wow. I'm guessing the English languages have been around probably, 5,000 years at least, maybe 4,000 years, and I meant not that long. At least a couple thousand years, right? And woman has always been woman. That's a physiological thing. And for the last 5 minutes, they've tried to make it mean something else. How is that false information? So she continues, it's crazy with all this anti-trans stuff out there, but it's how a person identifies that defines their gender identity. And that is the end of the story, Lenz told Newsweek. So a trans woman is a woman and a trans man is a man. And that's what most of our community feels. Well, that's because that's the dialect of English that you speak. But not everybody speaks your dialect of English. Okay? Is that okay? Can I speak my own dialect of English? If you want to believe that in your little cove of community, whatever, knock yourself out. But most people don't speak that dialect of English, that newfangled dialect that you try to force on everybody. And just because you believe it doesn't mean I have to believe it. I'll respect you as a human being. You have the rights to travel and go to restaurants and eat and go to walk your dog and whatever. But you don't have to force your dialect. You don't have to force me to speak the language you speak. If you're speaking German, knock yourself out. Doesn't mean I have to speak German. Okay? And you might as well be speaking German. I don't speak German. I speak my dialect of English, and in my dialect of English, men and women are synonymous with male and female. Sorry. I'll be nice to you. I might even call you, if you're a trans woman, I might even call you she, just out of ease of understanding for the rest of the people standing around me if you look like a she. Okay? Doesn't mean I think that you're a woman. Just that's my language. Sorry. Now, in a press release, Kobach said state records must be accurate and reflect the truth as defined in state law. A birth certificate is a record of what happened at the moment the baby came out of the womb. That baby weighed a specific amount and was a specific sex. Similarly, a driver's license is a state document reflecting a state database for state purposes. It is not a canvas on which a person can paint one's expression or preferences. Barb Wasinger, a Republican state representative, said women being erased in the record books. Women need the protection of Title IX, and we need the protection of SB 180. Okay, that's regarding sports, obviously. Lenz, who is also the co-founder and CEO of the Stonewall Inn Gives Back initiative, said the comments such as Peterson's cause misinformation. Now, there's that word. We've been talking about misinformation, right? And so when they try to control language and try to control speech on various platforms, and they do it in the guise of, protecting people from misinformation, this is what you get. Our disagreement with the CEO of Stonewall Inn becomes misinformation, and that becomes the speech that they try to stifle. So that's why it's so insidious that, these social media companies were taking their cues from government agencies or NGOs that the government agencies have their fingers on, or thumbs on, more like it, or their knees on their neck, more like it. So she continues, when folks out there using their platform for hate, it's not hate, it's just reality. Hate, look, me telling you my use of the language is not hate. It's just a reality. You talk your truth, I can speak my truth. And look, put it this way. In my dialect, your truth is nutty to me. But it doesn't mean I don't respect you as a person. It doesn't mean I hate you. I hate the fact that you think you have control over what comes out of my mouth, but it doesn't mean I hate you. When folks are out there using their platform for hate, and especially well-known folks like that, it's alarming. And I think there tends to be a system of, I don't want to call it brainwashing, but there's power in platforms. Boy, brainwashing is an interesting term to use here, like you've been doing with kids in schools. Is that why you want control of what the kids learn in school? So you can brainwash them into not believing things that most of us see as pretty common. Especially on social media, using your platforms, your Twitter, your Facebook, or whatever, a well-known person and out there spewing hate. It's not hate. Again, facts don't mean, just because someone talks in factual ways does not mean hate. It's just not good for the LGBTQ community, period, and especially not good for the trans, non-gender conforming folks who are already under attack. It just multiplies it. Well, maybe you should come to the compromise then and understand that not everyone's going to agree with you, and that your position on certain issues is incongruent with reality. It's funny because I don't think, here's what I don't think. I don't think everybody who advocates for us forcing the language on other people, I don't think they actually believe everything they say either. You know what I mean? Because if their position is that you should respect someone's pronouns, or you should respect that, a trans woman is woman, right? If you have to say that, if you have to tell somebody that, I know in the back of your mind, you don't really believe it. I know in the back of your mind, you're doing it to accommodate someone who's saying something that's not true. Because otherwise you wouldn't have to try to force it on me. If you believed it, you would just comfortably say it yourself. But no, by the idea that you think that you have to force it on someone else makes me think that, deep down inside, that little Dylan person, even though he does a really great show on TikTok, deep down inside, Dylan's just whatever. The word I can't say on YouTube, I don't think. I don't know. Who cares? So anyway, people on Twitter took exception to Peterson's comments. For all the BS these fake thought leaders spew, their limited real views never even consider the possibility that the world isn't stuck in the 50s, wrote one person. Hey, you mean it isn't stuck in the 2010s either, right? Because this stuff's really just hit ahead over the last 8 to 10 years. So the idea that you're stuck in the 50s, that's ridiculous. I know when I grew up in the 70s, nope. 80s, nope. 90s, nope. 2000s, nope. Around 2013, 14, 15, this stuff started showing up on certain websites and being pushed heavily to kids and younger people. It's just, sorry. Thank you, Avocado Diablo. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Appreciate you on Rumble. Simple question. Am I a transphobe because I identify as one or because you identify me as fitting a category? Now explain to me how gender works the opposite. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to call me that, but I don't identify as a transphobe. No, I know what you meant. I knew it was a question for them. That is a question for them. Oh, you call me a transphobe? I don't identify as a transphobe. Sorry. Another add to the concept of being born intersex is just completely lost on these people. Like, you're telling me that a person who is born with both genitalia who decides to express as women is definitely man. Okay, stop bringing up intersex people. That is what is it? Canard? It's a white elephant. It's whatever. It's not, that's a dumb argument, people. Intersex is a developmental anomaly. It is not another gender. It is not another sex. It is a developmental anomaly, just like someone who has Down syndrome, just like someone who is born blind, just like someone who is born with one leg. It is not a spectrum. Humans have 4 limbs and walk on 2. If someone's born without a limb, it doesn't mean that's another type of human. It's just an anomaly. Someone's born blind in one eye. Most people can see out of both eyes. Humans can see out of both eyes. The exception is a developmental anomaly called blindness. It is not a different type of human. A person with Down syndrome, with that extra chromosome. It happens in a small percentage of people, but that does not make it a new type of human. Someone with an intersex condition is someone who has a developmental anomaly. You don't create a spectrum of sex through these anomalies. There's a few of them, and that's 0.18% of people are born with these developmental anomalies. That does not make a different person. Everyone who is intersex is still either male or female from a scientific standpoint. So how they identify is basically how you identify. While it may mean something in social circles, is irrelevant to what your sex is. Your sex is what it is. You can't change it. Sorry. Stop using that stupid argument. A third road, probably the dumbest doctor ever. This is like 8th grade, barely passing science knowledge. How can you have a psych doctorate? Because the education system has been taken over by ideologues and activists. Fuck you. Others agreed with Peterson. There's no such thing as a male woman, one wrote. Trans women are trans women who were likely once men and can never be women. Another wrote, according to the National Center for Transgender Equality, transgender people are those whose gender identity is different from the gender that they were thought to be at birth. Don't care. The group adds, when we're born, a doctor usually says that we're male or female based on what our bodies look like. Now, here's where they do this all the time, and this cracks me up, right? Oh, well, there's a difference between gender and sex. Well, what is this group called? The National Center for Transgender Equality? Listen to this line again. When we're born, a doctor usually says that we're male or female based on what our bodies look like. Yeah, male or female, isn't that sex? I thought sex and gender were 2 different things. Most people who were labeled male at birth turn out to identify as men, and most people who are labeled female at birth, not labeled. You're not labeled. It's not even a label. It's an observation. Sex. Humans are a dimorphic species. There are two sexes in humans. There's either male or female, or you might have one of those anomalies that people say, oh, but what about intersex? It's a developmental anomaly. I stopped saying birth defect because, well, are you saying they're defective? Well, sort of, but it's an anomaly. Okay? Just like we can't say retarded anymore. We say Down syndrome, or we say, special, or whatever. Oh. But some people's gender identity, their innate knowledge of who they are, is different from what was initially expected when they were born. No, they are still, even if their gender identity that they choose when they get older is different from their sex never changes. Even people who have what has been known as a sex change operation. Well, it's not a sex change operation. It is it's a plastic surgery simulated procedure to make you seem like the other sex, even though you can never change your sex. This drives me nuts. And then they go on and on about Peterson wading into these debates. But that's, so anyway, so this is a good example, though. When they start talking about misinformation, see how that group used that by calling it misinformation, okay? That is something that the government would be able to ask social media companies to suppress as misinformation. Well, guess what? The government has no business telling you what you can and cannot say, what you can and cannot think, whether they believe it's misinformation or not. Fuck off. All right, I am beyond my time here. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to get to today, but I do want to, let me bring your attention to a few things before I go, okay? In the links today, there's a tweet thread by Tracy Beans, who just very thoroughly goes through the entire ruling, has some supplemental articles. If you really want to get deep into this, it's a great thread. And it goes back to when this case started. She's been following the case since it began. And so it goes through a very detailed accounting of the ruling. Let's see. We've already went through the Daily Caller article. Then just a couple of articles that are added. Facebook suppressed Tucker Carlson video that did not violate a content policy after the White House demanded. So this is in that ruling. The White House demanded that a video by Tucker Carlson get removed from Facebook, and it wasn't any. There was no false information in it. Federal judge accused Facebook Tuesday of coordinating with the White House to censor posts that did not violate its content policy, including a video by former Fox News host and Daily Caller founder Tucker Carlson. They got a couple of this. On April 14th, 2021, Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of Digital Strategy, Rob Flaherty, emailed Facebook demanding censorship of Carlson and then Fox News host Tommy Lauren. According to Doty, he claimed the top post about vaccines that day was Tucker Carlson saying vaccines don't work and Tommy Lauren stating that she won't take a vaccine. So they told Facebook to take it down, even though it didn't violate Facebook policy. You can read the rest of the article yourself. In the New York Post today, this is interesting. So there was an interpreter in Afghanistan that served with U.S. forces, and he fled the Taliban takeover. He's been killed in New York City. So this guy who, during the Afghan conflicts was helping the U.S. As an interpreter, ends up becomes a Lyft driver when he moved here in New York, and he's been murdered in Washington D.C. Nazrat Ahmad, not in Washington D.C. So Rest in peace, sir. You can read about that in the New York Post. In Daily Caller, in Michigan, we talked about... in Michigan, they're trying to do what Merrick Garland shouldn't be doing, basically criminalizing existing while conservative. We talked about Bill 4474, which criminalizes hurting someone's feeling or making the person feel threatened, subjected to arbitrary criteria that are virtually impossible to defend against in court. The two exceptions are if the conduct is constitutionally protected or if it serves a legitimate purpose. This is a dumb law. We talked about it yesterday. Two parts of the bill stand out. First up is the injury the injury or severe mental anguish clause. This part of the law basically makes it possible to lock people up for things like pointing out reality. If you are a culture reporter and published an article calling a man who claims to be a woman a man, it is theoretically grounds for getting 5 years in the slammer and a $10,000 fine if that person protests. So basically, this is that like in Great Britain where you can say that person said something mean about me and they can jail you. Well, they're trying to make that happen in Michigan. This bill, and it's already passed one half of the legislature. It hasn't passed both houses yet, but it's Michigan, so it probably will. But it says the bill can definitely become a double-edged sword for Whitler and her legions of doom. I like to call her Whitler. Since having fat pedophiles dressed up as demons twerking in front of the religious kids, it certainly can fall under the harassment of the basics of religion. Remember, it's all about feelings. Them Christians who have protested porn and drag in school should be able to use the law for also, because they can say, well, that you know. So anyway, it's a stupid law. It should never pass, but if it does, it will get knocked down in the court. All right, moving on. Oh, did you hear about this? So the prosecutor, the prosecutor in the Hunter Biden case that gave this sweetheart deal, did you hear that he worked for Hunter Biden's former business partner, Assistant U.S. State's Attorney Derek Hines, who previously worked for Hunter Biden's business partner, signed off on the charges along with U.S. Attorney David Weiss against the president's sons for 2 federal tax violations and 1 violation of gun laws. That, you know, he agreed to plead guilty on that really super sweetheart deal. Well, apparently Hines worked as a special counsel for former FBI Director Louis Freeh's private company, according to his LinkedIn account. Freeh owned Free Group International, which is a weirdly, oddly, ironically named company, a lobbying group with ties to the Biden family business. Their relationship dates back to 2013 when Hines served as a special counsel to Freeh from 2013 to 2015. Anyway, the long story short, this guy worked for one of Hunter Biden's business partners, and he's the U.S. attorney, one of the U.S. attorneys on the case. No conflict of interest there. In, let's see, human defense. Oh, and then also the wife of the attorney for D.C. who refused to prosecute Hunter Biden had an all-access pass to the White House. Julie, what was her name? Presumably spoke with investigative journalist Julie Kelly about why the wife of the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Matthew Graves, has an all-access pass to the White House, despite President Biden insisting that the White House and Justice Department are completely separate entities. Graves refused to allow Hunter Biden to be prosecuted in his district, according to IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley. So there's a whole nasty web of shit that weaves around itself. Unbelievable. These people are just corrupt as F. Let's see. Daily Wire. Cocaine in the White House was in a different location than previously reported. I talked about that earlier. There's a story about that. Also, it's funny. This is a good one. And I'm not going to read it, but here it is in the Federalist. The White House that tracked down grannies after the Capitol riot wants you to believe cocaine caper has them stumped. There's a lot of cameras in the White House. I don't think there's an inch of the White House that they wouldn't be able to figure out what happened. They know who brought this crap in here. Give me a break. Come on, man. Here, let me go to those. Here, come on, man.
Oh, man.
You know they know who had it. All right. And let's see. Also in the article is Trump aide pleads not guilty to concealing classified documents and obstructing justice. There was that guy, the Navy veteran, who was also indicted in the Trump case. He's pleading not guilty. That's in the Daily Wire. Legal insurrection. San Francisco kids. Oh, there. So now, you know how San Francisco's a shithole. And that's just a given. That is fact. That is not misinformation. San Francisco's a shithole. Apparently now there are some kids in San Francisco, like that. You know how the car break-ins are just epidemic there. In fact, I've been to San Francisco 3 times, and all 3 times my car's been broken into, right? But now they just come up in the park. If you're parked in the park and you have plates that are out of state, especially, they will look in your vehicle. If they see suitcases, it's smash and grab time. They'll take a bat, smash your window, grab what they can. What people standing around doesn't matter. They just do it and go, right? Well, now they're also taking these bats and they're attacking moms and nannies who are picking up kids after school. Last week, the San Francisco Chronicle reported on a number of attacks on moms and nannies in No Valley as they picked their kids from school. Women told the publication a person with a ski mask and a bat first attacked them. They also said people targeted those with smartphones. So they're dealing people with smartphones, probably carjacking their cars, grabbing their purses and whatnot. San Francisco's fucked up. You can read that one on your own. And apparently, some activists, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game's coming up. Well, activists in Seattle are attempting to throw a wrench into the city's efforts to clear homeless encampments ahead of the upcoming Major League Baseball All-Star Game by planning an RV park-in, according to a flyer obtained by Como TV and shared with the Daily Caller News Foundation. The city gave homeless RV residents parked throughout Seattle's Soto neighborhood near the city's T-Mobile Park baseball stadium notices to relocate and move their belongings from the area ahead of the game. So apparently a bunch of people are homeless, but they have RVs and they park them in wherever they can, and the streets dirty with whatever. Well, they're trying to get rid of them. Well, they're going to have a park-in around during the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Here it is. Here's the flyer. Fuck baseball, fuck this mayor, fuck this city. Let's fuck their day up. June 11th, the All-Star Game. They've been pushing us around for months, hoping to clear us out of sight for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game on July 11th. Let's make sure their work was for nothing. And they're saying park around the stadium, whatever. They got a flyer there. So you can read about that. Let's see. Oh, so this latest mass pew pew event that you're not hearing about so much because the demographics were not right as far as the shooter, and also the gender conformity and demographics of the shooter is not correct. So it's not a big deal in CNN and ABC, whatnot, but some other outlets are reporting on it. Apparently this was let's say the left insists that the Philly shooter is not trans or a BLM supporter. Mass shooter in a liberal war-torn fecal cavity called Philadelphia broke all narratives and is left wetting their Crocs over him, her, them, zim, shwood. The black male transvestite mass shooter Kim Brady Carricker, 40, strutting the latest style in bulletproof vest, went on a rampage with a pistol, not an AR-15. He left 5 men dead and 2 children injured, including a 2-year-old who was shot 4 times in the legs. Well, this is the person, the male, dressed in women's clothing, but they're insisting that it's not trans and not a BLM supporter because circle the wagons. Apparently there's an effort to, and then finally in the New York Post, there's an effort to end black child support payments because black people, I don't know, but the effort sounds stupid according to the New York Post. It only hurts black kids because black people shouldn't pay child support like white people. You'll have to read it yourself. And finally, misgendering violates YouTube's guidelines. Exposing genitals apparently don't. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel that is an educational channel on how to how to make your butthole silky smooth, your cock and balls and whatever. And it's because it's a educational channel, YouTube allows the nudity, but you can't misgender anybody on YouTube. Go figure. All right. I need to make an abrupt exit. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back Monday, maybe even this weekend is possible. I don't know. But thanks for joining me. I'm here Monday through Friday around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And we'll have a lot more fun next week. Please hit the like button, share the stream. If you'd like to donate to the show, you haven't done so, like Jimmy Hotep and Avocados Diabli, you can do that 24 hours a day at Streamlabs/Dawg Knight or Venmo, Cash App. All that information is in the description on both Rumble and YouTube. I'll put up the links during the outro. And speaking of outro, I got to go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Have a great day and a weekend and all that stuff. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.